What's good, y'all? It's your boy G. We back at it again with another episode of the podcast, the Why I'm Geeked show with your boy Ginato. And y'all can see right there, if you're watching this on YouTube, the homie Chrisylite. Chris telling what's good.
What's good, everyone? Today is gonna be a special one. Because your boy got his name down there now. He's got his name down there. Was it this way?
Yeah,
right there.
That's right. That's real. Nah, but it's been a long time coming, man. I had to not trick Chris, but I had to when we was at DreamCon,
Heart to heart.
I had to let him know, bro. Like, bro, you're too good not to just be on the podcast all the time, bro. So, Chris is staying and is going to be consistent with us, and we're coming back to hopefully a lot more episodes. At most it'll be once a week, but I'm saying, depending on like the movie schedule, y'all know how things go. We might have some movies that we just won't even have nothing to talk about, but we here though, and we back with the gang. So today, as y'all can see with the title of this podcast and the cover art, I don't know if you could tell from the poster, because the poster doesn't really tell me anything about the movie. Like, I don't see that little horsey horse and think nope. That's just not where my brain is at with it. But we're gonna be talking about Nope today. It's not a Marvel podcast, guys. Like, we watch other things.
Yeah, we watch a lot of other stuff.
So we're gonna be going over that. We just saw it like yesterday, right? Yesterday. So still fresh in our minds, but we got some notes on it. But just to start off, man, what was you thinking going into this thing? Because personally, for me, I didn't watch. Like, I seen the trailers, but I was never really paying attention to them, because up until like a week before, I wasn't planning on going to see this movie. So as the scary king, as the horror film, whatever, I don't even know if this was that, but you're the guy that loves scary stuff. How are you feeling going into this?
Well, going into this, I'm gonna start off by jumping way back in time when Get Out first came out. It was back in college, and we got like a premiere like a week before the movie even showed. And it was a stadium filled with college students. And everyone knew it was supposed to be like a scary type movie. So that thing was jumping, bumping, and everyone walked out there with smiles on their face. And everyone was like, you got to go see it. You got to go see Get Out. And that movie went crazy. And then it was kind of like Us, another scary type movie. I'm going to be in the theaters day one. Got to go see it.
Okay.
Another little craziness. Still pretty creepy. I'm going to give that one creepy. And now we get to Nope. Yeah. And when you hit two movies, when you already, two home runs pretty much, it's kind of like, I'm going to go see the third one regardless.
True.
Regardless.
True.
And they dropped that first trailer. I think we probably were in a Marvel movie. They dropped that first trailer, and it was like, nope, yep, that sounds about right. The third one, he probably saving the best, like a grand slam. And then they dropped the second trailer, and everyone was like, this don't seem like what I originally thought.
Okay.
So going into this movie, I was kind of thinking that second trailer just threw me for a loop, and it's going to go wild in like the second half of the movie, where it's completely not what I'm thinking it is.
Right.
Nope. And then that's how I felt walking into the theater. And then after seeing the movie, I was like, yo, why'd you even show me that second trailer? Like, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about the trailers. I was thinking about the previous movies. Okay. And then as soon as I walked out, all I could think about was the title. But how was you feeling? Because I know you don't watch scary movies, horror movies, or any of that type of genre. So walking in this, we did go in the daytime, though.
It was early. It was fresh. But since you went back memory lane, I'll let y'all know, because if y'all don't know, y'all might think I'm playing, bro. I don't do scary movies, dog. I don't do it. So when Get Out came out, right? Seen the trailer. Spooked off I was like, man, I'm not going to see this, bro. Well, I'm going to pay to be scared, you know? But I saw the movie. I ain't going to tell you how I saw the movie. Just know I saw the movie. And it wasn't the highest quality, but it was so scary that, like, I was watching it. I couldn't do it. I cut it off. I was like, bro, I'm not watching this, yo. I was that scared. And then it was like, I'm still scared of that movie to this day because of the premise of just having somebody else under my feet right now.
A doppelganger.
A whole doppelganger, bro. And I said that wrong, but a whole doppelganger. And
trying to place you.
Trying to replace me, bro. And it was just like the fact that they was just looking in the mirror and then she got choked out. And then it was like, which one's the real one? I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that, right? Yeah. But when I seen that one, I saw it on a plane and I didn't have headphones. Didn't listen to it. Just watched it because I was like, I mean, I didn't really have an option to, but I was like, if I'm gonna watch this is probably the closest I'm gonna get because I'm not playing with these junks. I'd be too scared, bro. And then going into this one, I was like, I gotta get over this, bro. I'm the movie guy now. I'm Ginato Reviews. I gotta go see these masterpieces, right? Because like you said, you know, he had 2 back-to-back hits, right? 2-time champion. Let's see if he's gonna go for the 3-peat, you know, and. Maybe it was the fact that, you know, going into this, I didn't really watch that many trailers. Like, I seen it, but I wasn't really paying attention. You know, I didn't really know. Like, I knew it was, like, some type of alien thing, but it was, like, at the same time, I don't know. I didn't know I didn't have any expectations going into it. All I expected to do was be scared, right? But I was with the movie club, so I wasn't scared. You know what I'm saying? I would never go see it by myself, but that's besides the point, right? Going into this joint, I was like, I'm about to see something amazing, but you know, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily Scarlet Witch level as far as Doctor Strange 2. I don't know if it's going to be that wild, but you know, I'm proud of myself. Maybe it was because I watched it and I wasn't like ODing. And I left the movie theater feeling like okay, that I was like, you know, I was sure it's all right. But as soon as I looked at everybody in the row, it was like, yo, this joint is trash. I was like, dang. I was like, wait, hold on. I thought I did great. I thought I was like, this is not the most amazing thing I ever seen, but I was like, this is at least a 7. Like, it looked amazing, sounded amazing, but it was a little confusing. And everything, and we'll get a little bit more into like the details of it. But going into it, bro, I was just like, man, I'm just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to really expect. And like the fact that you said that, you know, during the second trailer, you was like, what am I getting myself into with this one?
Yeah, two totally different feelings. Like,
yeah,
okay, nope, like that seems like something scary or something creepy again. I gotta go see.
Right.
And then the second one, I was like, uh-oh. Is he tricking me?
Right.
I don't know. But okay, I'm still going to go because you did so good with 2 movies. I got to go no matter what. Right. So
that's real.
I was proud of you, though, because you were ready for it. You were like, and after those first 2 creepy movies, to go to the third one, that seems dangerous. That seems... Setting yourself up to never go to another scary movie ever again.
Right. Because it's like, for me, I can do like, I can't do paranormal stuff. Yeah. Like really, but everything else, like if it's like a thriller, like something like that, I think I'm all right with that now. But that's beside the point. And then also, I kept saying the wrong name for this movie the whole time. I kept calling it From for some reason. I don't know why. I felt like I saw that first. Maybe it was like From Jordan Peterson, and like that was the thing. That's what stuck in my brain. I don't know, yeah. But yeah. So going to that joint, it was very, very like, you got to go see this. So I was just excited to do that. But as far as like first impressions of this movie, For me, like I feel like the first half of the movie was way better than the second half.
Really?
Yeah, because it was so much more mystery. Like it was like I'm trying to figure this
Okay.
thing out.
Okay.
You know, once they started putting the pieces together, I was like, what are we doing? What is this? You know?
That is good
But
points. Yeah.
I feel like it comes down to a lot to like uh alien ship versus alien. You know, I like the idea of more so like it being more than one alien than it just being one like or more than one alien on a ship than not just being the alien itself. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
like I feel like us being able to learn about Otis and learn like about the industry in a sense and how not only they like look at black people sometimes, but also just like the field that they're in. You never really know until you're on a set, and that was like a cool insight for me to this movie. But I mean, I think it definitely had its scary moments, but it wasn't nothing too crazy like to call it like, I don't even know if you would call it a scary movie or is it a thriller. I don't know. It's rated R. That's all I know. But what do you think about like just I guess like the first part of the movie? Since you said that's kind of wild. I said I like the first
I
part
mean,
better.
to be honest, I think your reasoning is actually very good
Mhm.
because I felt the opposite. I felt the second half of the movie is like much better than the first half.
Mhm.
But you do have a point. That mystery in the beginning, for me, made me feel like we were going to see like a much, much better movie in the second half. So
Mhm.
like all that mystery stuff, that's what I love about scary movies because it's like the whole point. Once you see a scary movie once, it doesn't feel the same the second time.
All right.
So it had some good mystery stuff, but to me, all of the second half of the movie is starting to be everything is getting going and everything is flowing, and I feel like a lot of stuff is like hitting its beats.
Okay.
But first impressions, woo, for me, that beginning is slow as ever. Like an hour into it, I was kind of like, I wanted to open up my phone and be like, how long have we been here?
Okay.
Like, I kind of feel like after 15-ish minutes, maybe 20 minutes, we kind of get what all the characters are doing here. We kind of get what's going on.
Right.
And there is like a side story with the what is it, neighboring ranch owner or neighboring
The neighbors.
yeah, the neighbors and like his childhood trauma bleeding into like this overarching story of the movie. That's in the beginning of the movie.
Does it
But
though? I don't know.
I think it does.
It gives
But
us context, but I don't know if
yeah,
it affects like what's actually happening.
yeah, it doesn't affect what's happening, but I think
Yeah.
like the meaning behind it, it's there.
Mhm.
But that whole part kind of feels like a separate movie almost.
Yeah.
That the whole beginning is kind of like, wait a minute, what's this leading to? What's his storyline leading to? And then like, okay, here's the movie. So after like an hour, I'm kind of like, all right, are we rolling yet? Like, it's a lot of setup.
Yeah.
So then once it gets to like after that hour, to me, it starts going and going and going.
Mhm.
And when it comes to scary movies, it's a really big hit or miss margin because it could either depend on like the entire premise or that end. If you don't end on a good scary movie, it can really ruin it because there's a lot of scary horror movies that once you get to the end, you walk out kind of like looking behind you. You're driving home in the middle of the night and you're like, I did not check the back of my seat. And you get home, you open a closet, let me turn on the lights for a little bit before I go to sleep. I can't. And walking out of this, I was just like, dang, like what? This is not a horror. This is not a horror movie. This is not really. I guess it would be more thriller.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It definitely could have gotten more.
I feel like
horror.
it wasn't personal enough for it to be horror. Like in the horror movies, it's like you got to have that physical contact. They was just running from this thing the whole time, pretty much.
Yeah,
it was so far away all the time.
And I think something like that, personal, is a good word because if it was like The Cloud, like the what are we gonna call it? Like
the space peacock.
The space peacock. If this was just in the image of a cloud that you couldn't really tell when you look up into the sky, I kind of would feel like this is a little bit better because overall, it's like we see clouds every day. We see clouds at night. And, you know, it may make you think about clouds differently. Like, dang, I've been looking at this cloud for a while in the shape of a bunny, and it ain't moved. Like, I'm about to get abducted. Like, something. And I think it really misses that feeling. And I did not get any feeling of true terror in the movie. It just kind of felt like an isolated terror movie. Like, nope.
I feel like for one, you know, Daniel Kaluuya or Otis in this movie was way too comfortable just walking around in the dark, bro. I mean, I don't know if that's just me, but as soon as I turn the light off, I'm booking it. Like I'm out, you know. But I think, like you said, like I think like if it's more of a thriller, like that makes a lot more sense because like the music itself was like super hype. You know what I'm saying? Like at a lot of different parts. I think the music was really good, but I feel like there was too many different storylines going on and no real factor that brought all the stories together other than the alien peacock or space peacock being hungry, right? Because even with the pacing of this movie, like after the first initial like scene, at least 6 months go by, and it was just like nothing happened, right? So when we start to see, you know, things start to happen, whether it's stuff continuously falling through the sky, or you know, the Otis trying to figure out how to save the family ranch and finally figuring out like, oh, this is what they do. They don't just train horses, or breed horses or whatever. They also have this whole like factor in how movies are made and just like the whole understanding how animals work and that being a superpower. Like it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, like I spent the whole movie trying to understand what is supposed to be going on. But I feel like, you know, as far as like the alien itself, once we got past it being a flying saucer and realizing that, oh, this is a whole living thing by itself, it killed it for me. Like I just wasn't as interested because I think the scariest part of this movie was definitely them little kids in the barn. Like,
damn.
I did not know. I was like, no, this is it. I was shook, bro, because not only one of them got socked, but it was 3 of them, and it was just like, bro, how many of them is it? Like, why they actually touched down? Like, you know, because it's with movies, they imitate some like real life, and sometimes, and especially a movie like this, like you will want people to, like you were saying, like kind of relate to it as like, okay, if this is a cloud. See clouds every day, you know, like are there something in the cloud before? And the fact that the cloud never moved, but nobody went to go see what that really looked like above, or like went into the cloud itself to see if like, is that a home, or is that the actual ship, or what makes it just stick there, you know? And it's like I feel like it was just too much stuff going on that like we couldn't nail out the finer details to make this joint very cohesive. But I'm curious to see like what you thought about the characters, because for me, Kiki one of my favorite people on the planet, right? But I also like the chemistry between her and Daniel Kaluuya with them being siblings, because I got the little sister feel from her, even though like initially it wasn't super heavy, but the more and more they spent time together, I was like, oh yeah, that's super funny. But everybody else to me just felt like expendable. Like even though like you said, like the neighbor had, you know, we got to see part of his history, and they start the movie off with his not fatal, but PTSD
like childhood
moment.
trauma.
Yeah, childhood trauma moment. But that never really connects to anything else other than being like that being crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know where we stand, Like they got a little bit into like how the father impacted each one of the kids, but it's like even with Kiki character, like M, we never really got super into her aspirations because as soon as there was a money making opportunity, like all that stuff went away. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, what? Why did the alien even come there in the first place? Why did it set up shop? Like, there's so many questions, what I'm saying, that I still have about Nope. But how did you feel about the characters?
Yeah, to be honest, I think the two main characters, they give like a 10 out of 10 performance. It's some of the best acting, to be honest, just because one is acting, Kiki, she's like killing every line. They're giving her so much to work with, and she's just doing amazing. And then they give what is it, Otis?
Yeah.
The kind of like this stoic, standoffish brother.
Yeah. The strong silent type.
Yeah, strong silent type, and he is always that. You know what I mean? Yeah. No matter what, he is literally the Rock of the movie.
Yeah.
And to be honest, without his like demeanor and understanding of like creatures, like some of the beats you would never get. Like how do we go about maneuvering around this being? So like to me, those two characters being so different, and then the two actors just nailing it, were vital to this movie being good. And then to me, I like the way they introduced the camera guy, because they kind of needed someone else to be there with them. But I kind of feel like deep down, I wish there was a little bit more mystery to the brother and sister figuring out this being. Like the brother sees the being in the sky, and maybe he's starting to, feel the stuff that his dad was saying, like, oh, there's ghosts out here in the mountains, or some quote like that. But kind of like, dad always talked kind of crazy living out here in the ranch. And then like finally him like, I saw something. And then the sister being like, brother, you bugging. We got to sell this ranch. You know what I mean? Like they had that narrative in the movie and all of that. And kind of like the sister being like, you being up in this mountain, it's not good for you. Dad passed away. You got to get out of here. And him kind of going crazy, then bringing in a tech guy like, yo, you got to watch this. Something's going on. Or like kind of, he could have been standoffish, like, nah, I don't need you to watch. And then the tech guy being like, yo, I saw something, like this cloud ain't moving, blah, blah. And that like the tech guy and OJ coming together like, yeah, you ain't crazy, I believe you. And the sister like, bro, he's like feeding into this nonsense. There ain't nothing up here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is the type of thing where we're sitting there watching a movie like, yo, what is he talking? It's a cloud. Like, like what? Because if you never see like the second trailer, you don't even know there's something in there. You're just kind of like, something like soup them up or something.
Right.
Like, so then you're like, this man is actually seeing stuff. Like we may be questioning whether this character is seeing things completely until the whole neighbor scene where you officially see it like close up, and we're like, what movie are we in?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that would have been amazing. And that would have made the three main characters that we follow throughout the movie kind of have their own place. Like one guy trying to come to grips with what the heck am I seeing? The sister being like, we trying to get this money and we're gonna sell the ranch. Like,
yeah,
because Kiki's character is kind of like that anyway. Like, oh, we're gonna capture the being for the cash type thing. So it's like these characters have these narratives that are good, but it just could be better. And while they acted great and the lines are delivered well, them side characters, I needed them to be more part of this main story somehow. The neighbor's story is just too important to the whole creature to just kind of be a side thing.
Right.
It just didn't feel like it fully fulfilled its purpose throughout the whole movie. It was like, oh, this is like my origin story that was super deep with the whole monkey.
Yeah.
And that was really, really deep. But then it's just like, all right, straight back to the creature. I'm like,
yeah. It was also like one of those things where I was watching this movie expecting for there to be like some type of scheme, or like for the family to be super well off, in a sense, like the neighboring family to be super well off because of them being a child actor and also having this little amusement park type thing. But I never got that vibe from them, and up until the point where, they have the little show that they show in the trailer, I felt like they were both down bad, like, granted, there's still levels to it, but that looked like what the neighbor expected that show to be really seemed like it was like, oh, this is my way back.
I think like the whole idea is exactly what you're saying. It's his way back to like the stardom, and like the whole movie is kind of along the lines of like how Hollywood treats its actors, and then him having that career in the beginning, it was a booming one. He was on the #1 show, and then that one crazy incident with the monkey became what the show was about. Like everyone remembers just the crazy incident with the monkey. They don't remember the whole show. So now he gets thrown aside, and now he's trying to find his new way back into like the limelight. And he's just thinking, I'm gonna go to the extremes. I'm gonna tame this one creature because, the monkey that went crazy, he like dapped me up and everything. Like we were still cool.
Gang.
Like, yeah. Like that was just an incident. And this new creature, this is my ticket to the top. And I can, I have that ability to ride this creature to the top because we're like that. Because he was feeding it, he was nurturing it, and he really felt like I understand this creature. And to get to the top, he took that risk, and it was deadly.
Right. But my thing is like, up until that point, we didn't get no context to knowing that he even knew that thing was out there. Like we knew that they were neighbors, but like we didn't really know how close, they really were. And we never knew, like, okay, until he says like, we feed it at this certain time. It's like, I think it was like 3 hours before or something like that they actually went out there. But like for me, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie because that was the first time where it was like, oh, this is starting to put the pieces together. Like, oh, there's a reason why he wanted these horses, but we don't see them after the fact.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he must be selling them to somebody else as well. So it was like that starting to put the pieces together with that. It as a viewer in the audience, I was like, oh, this is it. This is the thing. And even one of the things from the trailer that like really had me tight was like the fact that like I told y'all after the fact, but it was like going into this, I thought aliens had invaded people like or something, and when we see that scene where the girl that got like a maimed face or whatever, I was like, oh, an alien's emerging from this girl. Like that's what I thought was happening.
Yeah.
But when we come to the fact, it's like, nah, she just got mauled by the monkey, right? And or the chimp, and that's why her face looked like that. And I was just like, that was a letdown. I was like, dang. I was like, I mean,
and it's like they bring in that character, and to me, they just bring her back to show that she survived that trauma, and then the guy in front of her is like, oh yeah, even though this is a bad thing that happened to me, I'm gonna try to do anything it takes to get that limelight back.
Yeah,
and then that girl's kind of like,
they're both like in the same situation, but
he's scarred mentally, she's physically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there was that scene where he's terrified as a kid, and then it cuts back to him like smiling nowadays because he's still like, I still want to make it, but it's kind of like he's never dealt with that trauma. And maybe it's like how Hollywood is, like people in Hollywood, they go through these phases where they're the star and then there's something happens to them, and to make it to the next big thing, you're trying to put on this facade that everything is good, and you're not dealing with like what's been happening in the past and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, like if that's what the movie is trying to get to, like it still doesn't, like what you said, like the plot points of the whole movie, it doesn't really necessarily feel like they're hitting everything. So when you're watching it, you like get that. Right. It just kind of feels like, oh, okay, the monkey went crazy, and now we're just dealing with a UFO. Like, all right. And another thing is they have this weird thing with the horses where they show their names.
Yeah.
Between the scenes.
Yeah.
And it just, to me, it didn't really correlate to what really is happening. Like,
I didn't notice that until later on. Like until Lucky was like, that's when I was like, oh yeah, this is the next one that's going to die. Like that's how, like that's the horse that we're on, and or that's the experiment that we're on or whatever. And even when they called the mystery or the space peacock jean jacket,
yeah,
that was another thing. I was like, oh, I like that, the idea of that, but I still don't understand why he called it that. Like I don't know.
I thought the names were gonna like mean something to the movie. Like the horse names correlate to something, or like does this the horse name correlate to what that segment of the movie meant? And it's like, okay, we're gonna name this thing Jean Jacket. And was there a meaning behind Jean Jacket with his pop type thing? Right. Was Pop's horse or a sister horse?
It was supposed to be his sister's horse, but then a movie wanted it. I think it was the Scorpion King. I think that's what it was. Okay. That's even more of a Easter egg that I don't even know about, because it's just like this movie is filled with those things. And going back to like how the pacing was set for this movie, I feel like this movie was probably meant to be like 3 hours, honestly, and it was able to cut it down to 2. But even then, it was still 30 minutes too long because we spent so much time in unnecessary places, whether it was the tech guy having a random conversation to get a jump scare from the girl, or if it was like them, eating burgers and contemplating like what's their next thing. It was just like a whole bunch of like moments where it's like, okay, in a normal situation, once you find something out like this where it's like there's aliens and it eats people and you finally get away, you don't go back. But it was just like, nah, like we're gonna keep going back. We're gonna figure this thing out so we can get this picture, So it was just like certain things were good about the way that they would not only introduce characters but move the plot along. Like you're saying with the cameraman, when he didn't really sign on board until he heard about what happened with the neighbor's amusement park, and then heard like, oh, this is really close to this other ranch that they were just talking about. Maybe there's actually something here, and how they kept emphasizing like the perfect shot or the filming thing possible. Like that was the thing that moved them forward. And it was just like there's moments in this movie where I feel like we're supposed to get something, but it's not on this, like it's just out of reach. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's out of reach to the point where I feel like if someone's really saying like, oh yeah, that's it, I'm like, yeah, but the movie doesn't get you entirely there. It's kind of like, if that's what you're going for, okay, but maybe you needed more nudge. And like I feel that with a lot of stuff, like that perfect shot thing. Like, oh, they don't deserve the impossible. Then you're kind of like, I feel like I didn't get enough of this character to fully grasp his demeanor of, I'm going to get the most impossible shot.
Right.
And I'm going to like risk my life for this because this is...
Bro, lose like, my life. Bro, it got me so tight because it's like, okay, you're using film camera. This is not digital. You can't go back and figure out... and recover whatever you done lost. Like, so you're gonna come out here to get the perfect shot, right? You're gonna film it yourself, but you're gonna sacrifice yourself. And what makes you think that the film that you're getting is going to survive the encounter, and I'm just like, bro, like,
and
it's
that's
so
why
many
the
things, so many
Hollywood,
things.
like when people are talking about this Hollywood effect, it's kind of saying like they're showing that this guy, for example, is giving up his life
Yeah.
for the film or the art he's trying to produce, and he's willing to
Mhm.
like die because he knows that whatever he's gonna produce, it is worth it in his eyes for his life to be gone. Like
Yeah.
whatever I'm working on is gonna be captured, immortalized forever.
Right.
But it's just like I don't fully get that from his character
Yeah.
unless you're just like, oh, this is what it means.
Mhm.
And I'm like, sometimes the movie has to lead you more there. Like the
Yeah.
guy saying like, oh, what is it you want? Fame, money, power, blah, blah, blah. And him kind of be like, you know, I've done all of that and I've still never been satisfied, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Like, I don't get that fully.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like he was not necessarily on his last ropes because he was the director. They was only doing a commercial. I thought it was a whole movie at first, but they was only there for a commercial day. So there's that aspect to it. And even with the tech guy, like he even brought the question up. It's like, yo, what we're doing right now is important, right? Like he desperately wanted everybody to say yeah, you know, because it's just like I'm really risking everything to be here because I realize like this is something that's like nobody else is going to be able to capture, but is it really worth it? And I feel like because nobody really
And
has
that's
an
like
answer,
Hollywood.
yeah,
That's like Hollywood. Like,
yeah, everybody's going
hey,
through the
what
same
I'm
thing.
doing, is what I'm doing actually going to like matter or be important in life?
Yeah.
And people's answer is like, yes, but then everyone's kind of like, it doesn't?
Is that
like,
the genius? Is that the genius?
No, that's where the people are getting the genius. I'm just on the opposite side, like, bro, this is just not, no, this correlation is killing me.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Right.
But that's where I'm getting like these different characters, them trying to come to that. I just feel like they needed more of a stronger push of saying, of correlating that, or like kind of like saying, the guy just feels like he's saying, you know, is it even worth us trying to go after this creature? It just doesn't seem like it because it's a UFO.
Right.
Like what the?
Right. What are we gonna do? Like, that really puts it into perspective for me because I've been trying to figure out like why this movie makes me feel like conflicted, because it's just like, yo, okay, if we're pointing fun or you know, looking at this in the same lens as everybody else, like at face value, like I still enjoyed the movie, but like when I look at it and for the movie itself, I feel like in theory it's a good concept, but in actuality, like when you add like if it wasn't a UFO, if it was something different that was more tangible that you could do a little bit more with, or maybe possibly explore the actual inside of the UFO or whatever. Like that's why I was saying, like if it was a ship versus an alien, then we would have had more opportunity to like possibly get there. Because I'm starting to realize, like in a lot of these scary movies and stuff that I've seen over the years, because I haven't seen a lot, but the movie is made in the anticipation of something, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, so when you take that out the game early, and not saying it got taken out right away, but once you turn it from it being a mystery into something definite, that's why it killed the joy for me. And like, oh, like this is just, there's nothing they can really do about this. Like, so, you know, if they say that's on them, like, and it was just like, okay, now I'm just staying in the movie just to see if there's a resolution. You know, and even in that, this movie falls short because, yes, they got the shot, but what did that lead to? We don't know because the movie ended. You know, so.
And I think that's what bothers me a lot. It's kind of like I kind of wanted a little bit more resolution.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, he's done in his other two works, at least it feels like towards the end there is like an overall resolution that makes you say, oh, okay, I'm fully grasping this. And I just need someone to iron out the rest of it. And dang, I don't even know what it was that you said But when it comes to like this movie, like I'm really wondering, and I thought about this when we walked out, is the graphic scene in the beginning with the monkeys, like when they show that like visceral violence, like is that all just meant to be there so then it like gets everyone going and out the way, and then the rest of the movie we see this like unbelievable creature, and like us the audience is not satisfied with it just being like a UFO type creature that transforms and does all this stuff. Like we're not satisfied. We want to see it like do laser beams, swallow the whole house. Like we want it to do more because we just saw something wild, and now we're like, oh, it being just a mystical creature or a creature that we'd never thought of, like, oh, the UFOs are actually creatures. Like that's not enough for us. Like we need more. Like I'm wondering if there's he wanted to relate that somehow to like how in today's age, like we don't care about, oh, there's a new creature or something, like, oh, there's creatures in the sky, cool. Do they shoot lasers? Like, can they swallow us? Are there more? Like, I deep down feel like there had to have been something, because the creature just does the same thing, and then we wait 30 minutes. The same thing, and we wait 30 minutes. That's like what I'm like. And then he transforms in the end, and I'm like, is there more? And it's just like squares. That's squares.
Right, and I'm like, I was mad. You just gonna keep posting at me like this, like, bro, like, what is that?
But exactly, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Do you do more? Yeah. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's enough. Like the creature is enough, and I'm wondering if he's trying to.
That's on purpose. It's got to be. It's got to be on purpose.
Yeah. Like it's like even when we produce something amazing or do something amazing, it's not enough. Like it needs to have sparkles. It needs to have rainbows. You know, like, but regardless, as like a monster hunting movie, I was kind of like, bruh, what is this? What is this?
So who is he shooting at then? Because he's got to be shooting at somebody. Is it Instagram? Is it YouTube? It's got to be some type of platform that, you know, everybody is used to, and it's like even if it's a shot at Marvel or something, like something that he took issue with, but like not to the point where it's like, you know, he needs to blatantly say it, but it's like, yo, we got all this build up, and then we finally see this thing transform, and then it's just paper, like a balloon. Like it was just like, bro, like even the noises that it made, like I feel like
that's like the deep down the meaning, like the noises it made and the big balloon to me and to probably majority of the masses were like, what was okay? Like, do you do something else? Do you go attack mode? Do you start stabbing the ground? Are we going full anime now? Like, and he's like, no, because it's not enough for y'all type thing. And I'm like, I don't know if that's enough of a storyline to make me say like this is genius work. But you know, so deep down, you know, in 5 years, maybe I'll say, hey, this is genius, and I just could not see it. But nah, not today. Nope.
I don't know. I need to hear more conversations about this, because it's like until we start getting references of like, okay, who is the balloon alien really, and start to see the references. I mean, because like all the different like memorabilia, like the graphic tees was going crazy. Like they might have been on the ranch, but they was dripping though. You know what I'm saying? Like I liked all they fits, bro. But it was like it gets to the point where it's like, okay, this is art. You know, going into a movie, you thinking that this is a movie, right? But since it's Jordan Peele, you have a different expectation because of the first two movies. So part of me is like, okay, we're not looking deep enough into it, and the other part of me is like, bro, like it's right there in our face. We're just not seeing it, you know. And until like the cloud, until we see it, we're not gonna recognize like, oh, this is different. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's still like getting the conversation going to this point right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, we almost had like 45 minutes or something like that. I didn't think we was gonna get this far, because like leaving the theater, it was just like there was nothing really to say. you know what I'm saying, about the movie, but it was just
because
like,
as a movie, you can't help but like compare it to something like Jaws, and you're like, all right, we're dealing with the shark.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Well, we gonna try to kill the shark. Okay. And now we're sitting here for, like you said, after the mystery's gone, we're like, all right, how are we going to take a picture? How are we going to take a picture? Oh, that didn't work. All right, how are we going to take a picture? And you're like, all right, so the movie's over. We got a picture.
But we don't know what they're going to do with it.
We walk out the movie theater sitting there like, wait a minute, where's Oprah? Where's the Oprah moment?
Yeah. Because there's still not even a guarantee that anybody's going to believe, bro. Because everybody that has seen it is dead.
And like even just the reality of it being like us getting confirmation that people didn't believe, like or people did believe. Like I would have enjoyed that also. But I'm like, is that just another like confirmation bias type thing? I don't know. And deep down, I'm like, me digging deep into the movie, I'm asking way too much. You're asking way too much for the viewer, and I just feel like if it's presented a little bit better. It would go much higher on my list. But deep down, compared to his last two, they presented the plot, and it's more upfront.
Yeah.
So when you rewatch it, you're kind of just piecing and nailing down the last few things. This one, if I rewatched it one more time, maybe I would start getting the Hollywood thingy. But I'm just like, first viewing, this is Jaws, and I'm like,
and there was a Jaws trailer in the thing. In the movies when we went to. That's funny.
There was. There was.
That's random, bro. But
because it's like a monster hunting movie, and there's plenty of them. Right. And maybe it's just not my cup of tea. But deep down, there was literally a moment where I wanted to look at my phone and be like, "Bro, what is happening? Like, I got the story already. Let's get it going."
Yeah. But I think, I agree with you. Since you're talking about your list, obviously this one is at the bottom of the three movies.
Oh, yeah.
But let's get into 100%. Scores, man. Let's get into scores. So, I'll go first. Leaving the movie, I was like, this is like a 7.5, right? Like I wasn't even leaving because I didn't even get a chance to leave before y'all was like, nah, this joint trash, right? But like leaving, I was like, yo, this is I like what I saw, even though I was scared, and it wasn't like, I was just like, what are we watching? It was like, okay, this is just probably mid. You know what I'm saying? This is a mid movie. But then, like, once I started, like, I got back to the crib, I started writing down my thoughts and things and started seeing the holes in the movie. I was like, man, like, besides how the movie is shot itself and the audio, this movie is a 5. Right, so then I was just like, okay, if there's a 5 and a 7, it's I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6 because for me, like, I do agree, like, there's a certain artistry to this, right? And sometimes that gets lost, especially in certain genres like superhero movies and stuff like that. But for scary movies, it's a true art form because there's been so many, right? You know what I'm saying? There's been so many different types of scary movies, and to try to make one that's unique while also being able to show like your, own creativity through that's tough. And maybe this was like a shot at the audience. I was like, okay, like not only is the title Nope, because I'm not going to conform to y'all box, but also, if you're not really paying attention, you're going to think this movie is trash, but really, this is the best thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like one of those things where it's like, I'm still at this point conflicted, even being a day out, but I still like enjoyed what I saw because it, hit all the notes for me, and it wasn't too scary. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got. What you got, Chris?
Man,
go ahead, do it.
So I've seen a lot of horror movies, and this reminds me of, there are some horror movies I'm excited to go see, and it just doesn't do it. It's not that great at all, and I walk out like, dang, I wasted my money. But compared to other horror movies, I would say it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty good. But when you watch a lot of horror movies, a lot of them are, compared to a normal movie, they're bad. They're very, very bad. There's something wrong with them, whether it's the characters, the story don't make no sense, the ending's horrible, or it's just kind of like a jump scare fest that's just bad. And deep down, I feel like Nope, it has a lot of different horror movies or thriller movies in a single movie, and it doesn't hit a home run on all of them. And I gotta give it like a 4. I think walking out the movie, I said it's a 2. And even after hearing different conversations of people really liking it and the meaning behind stuff, to me, it's a better idea than it is a movie.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I can't go with, because the idea is so great, that it's a good movie.
Okay.
And deep down, I'm gonna keep it at a 4. Would I ever watch this movie again in my life? Probably not. And there's plenty of horror thriller movies that I would never watch again in my life. So his other 2, yeah, I'd probably watch again. This one, if I'm watching it again, I just know I'm gonna have my phone out for an hour. I just know maybe that last towards the end scene I'm gonna be watching. But I still love him. I still think he's one of the best. The shots at night are amazing. The creature is amazing. Great design. And the characters.
I don't know about
when
that.
They did the butterfly formation, that thing was looking good.
I ain't like that.
But yeah, deep down, it's not for me. It's not for me, dog.
Where? Who's that? Who's that American Idol dude? Freaking, I don't know. I don't remember his name. But yeah,
Randy Jackson.
Reggie Jackson.
Randy
Jackson. Okay,
yeah.
Randy Jackson. Yeah. But all right, that's smooth. That's better than I thought it was gonna be. I thought he was gonna keep it at a 2 because you don't usually change your
I normally don't when I walk out.
Yeah, but we're gonna give it the scary movie buff. That's what we're gonna call it. Because you did say that you always rank them higher than what they are, but
I do rank scary movies way higher because they're tough to rank.
Yeah,
there's not many good ones.
Right. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the main part of the podcast. Oh, what you got?
I did want to ask you one thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
How did you think about the monster end? How they defeated it?
I thought it was whack. Because
okay. I thought it was whack also.
Yeah, because I thought it was whack because it's just like it just floated away, and it's like, do you even know if it's dead? And where did it land? Like, there's so many questions that I have. Like, I understand like the whole like the reasoning behind them even using that big old balloon thing, but even the process that Kiki went to release it was just like, I didn't like that because it was just a whole bunch of jump cuts, and it's just like, when did you get injured? You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't fall off the bike, you didn't even get the bike going. Like, I understand. Like, I feel like she got more injured in those seconds that we were away than when she left the actual farm, and it's just like it just wasn't adding up. And then for it to just turn into like a big old, balloon pop and no like residue or anything. Cause like when that joint was eating people, he had a whole blood shower, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, it was just releasing keys and stuff like that. But like, for that to be the key, it just felt like, okay, this joint is just a dumb animal. Like, it's just, aliens are supposed to be smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, it's just a creature. That's why they don't communicate with us. I wonder if there's more. Like,
right?
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page there, because I almost let that slide out the podcast. So we good.
All right, that's what's up. So, other than that, that's all we got for Nope today. And I know we switched up things for the podcast a little bit with like how we used to do things. We're not doing news no more. The recap is just what we actually saw this week, and the filler arc is just going to be the Why I'm Geek section of the podcast now. So we'll start adding more stuff as we continue to go, now that this is a permanent thing, and we're going to build upon that. But for the last part of this joint, we're going to talk about what we're geeked about for this week and maybe what happened last week. But for me, I'll go first. You know what I'm saying? I'm super geeked about Phase 5 because we finally saw. I was right, bro. I was right. You know what I'm saying? I'll bring up like what they got on here. Just because I didn't memorize it, it just dropped literally yesterday. But let's see. But I know the main thing is Secret Wars. So they did announce Secret Wars, along with a whole host of other movies and shows. So first up, next year, and we got She-Hulk on here too, but that's like still Phase 4, but that hasn't come out yet, if you were wondering about that. So we got Quantumanium coming out first. Then they got Secret Invasion in the spring. Guardian of the Galaxy, Echo, Loki Season 2. Super geek for that. The Marvels, not as excited, for that. Blade, super geeked about that. Ironheart, I'm interested. Agatha, not really interested. I love Agatha though. And then we got Daredevil, a new season of that. Super geeked on that because I love Daredevil original. Captain America, New World. I'm excited for that just because I want to see what that's going to do.
Yeah,
New
like World
across
Order.
New World Order. Yeah, I'm excited to see what that does across like the different opinions out there, just because how the show went and how it ended. And then the Thunderbolts. So that's the thing we've really been building to in Phase 4, honestly, because it's just Phase 4 hasn't been good. But I'm excited for Phase 5 because it's just a fresh start. We're getting another like Avengers level movie. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm geek for. What are you geek for, Chris?
Wakanda Forever. It's marking the end of Phase 4, I believe, right? It's the last thing in Phase 4?
Last official thing,
Yeah, Phase 4 didn't do us right. I think deep down they were trying to get us off the high of the end of Endgame and, try and move us on to this next saga. But Wakanda Forever, I can't wait to see it because it's going to be interesting to see how they even maneuver any of this.
Yeah.
And I just need to see what the heck it's going to be about.
Yeah.
And now that we have the roadmap for the next 3 years now, I kind of feel better because if Phase 4 was just like a slow down, let's reset everyone's high expectations, and then they're gonna ramp it back up. Now that we have the roadmap, I kind of feel a little bit better. So,
quick question: was a roadmap always a thing though? I feel like it wasn't always.
Yeah, they had it, and they like Infinity War. They didn't have like the titles yet, and stuff like that, but they normally had like what movies are expected to come out. So now that we know like the years exactly,
but it wasn't never like no timeline though, like a timeline. Like I feel like that's new. Like I feel like that's newer.
So first they don't do the actual date, and then they do the date when they know it should be ready. The fact that we now know when Secret Wars is supposed to drop, it makes me feel a little bit better because now it does seem like Phase 4 is completely just a wash away. Yeah, a wash away your high expectations because we're gonna prove all y'all wrong in 3 years. See you in 3.
Right.
Oh,
so because I feel like I do feel like Marvel has dipped a little bit in that stint, but it's also gained a whole lot of new fans because of like Disney Plus and people actually really starting to get into the movies, because when youngins was locked down, that's all people had to do was watch stuff. So there's a lot more fans out there now than there ever was, and I'm excited too for Wakanda Forever because I watched that trailer so many times, bro. Like I'm gonna keep watching it too because that joke about to make me cry, bro. I already know that joke gonna make me cry, but that's pretty much it. Do I got anything else I'm geeked about? I mean, we're both on our One Piece journeys now, so
yep.
Be expecting the episode at some point. about that. I don't know when.
Yeah.
I don't know when.
At one day.
Right. And then I'm rewatching Baki. What else? I think that's it. I mean, Minecraft is goated. That's all I got, man. So, Christian, you got anything else before we get up out of here?
Nah, I can't wait to see you next week on this. And
sir,
this has been great. I'm glad to be here all the time.
That's what's up. So other than that, we're going to catch y'all in the next one, man. Hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, smash that like button. And if you want to hear more, definitely subscribe, bro. We're on all of the audio platforms and YouTube. So, and possibly, I ain't talked to Chris about this, possibly you might be getting back on Twitch. We'll see, though. We'll see. Get some live discussions. That'd be dope. But I'm going to catch y'all later. We going to catch y'all later. And, I gotta get an outro for this one because I don't got one. We gotta come up with something. But always keep on going. See your boy G and Chris, and we gone. Peace.